Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you and tell you how to pick the right screw size and type. These will be some basic instructions, so let's get right into the video. I have a few examples of different types of screws over here, so let's get right into the video. Now, what defines a screw? Well, essentially, a screw is a fastener that essentially has these threads on it, okay? So nails are things that you hammer in place. Screws are things that you twist in place, and these threads allow it to be fastened down properly. So a few things to consider, okay? And I'll go over some examples. The first thing is length. You want a screw that is long enough, that is at least long enough, but not necessarily one that is too long. So for instance, I have these screws over here. These are deck screws. These are number 6 screws in terms of their size, and they are 1 5/8 of an inch. So just over 1.5 inches, essentially. 1 5/8 of an inch. Now what you want is your screw to go through whatever you're trying to fasten, and then you want it to land at least about 3/4 into the material. So let's say I was fastening something onto this 2x4 over here. I would want the screw to go through that thing, and then when it goes into the 2x4, I need it to go at least about 3/4 of an inch into the 2x4 in order to get some level of security of holding it in place. If you can go 1 inch, that's even better. But you know, at least 3/4 of an inch is my rule of thumb, but I try for 1 inch to go into the material that I'm securing it to. So in terms of length, you want it to be long enough, but not necessarily too long, okay? So basically, in terms of fastening ability, you'll notice different types of screws have different levels of threading. So this is a deck screw. You can see it has these very coarse, aggressive, but distant threads. This is a wood screw, so you want to make sure, like something like this, has much finer threads, okay? Less aggressive, much finer threads. That's because they're designed for different types of things to be working with and in different situations. Okay, deck screws are straight up for decking. Wood screws are for more woodworking type things, okay? Now, so you want to choose one that is the level that you need. Number 6 screws are going to be smaller than let's say number 8 screws, right? So you get different sizes essentially. So you can see these are number 8 screws over here, different type of screw, which I'll go over in a moment. But you can see the sizing is completely different, okay? So you want to, and you know, you can get your screws in imperial measurements or metric measurements, just like your nuts and bolts. So it all depends, but you need one that makes sense. You don't want to put a big screw in something that only requires a small screw that you want to try and disguise, right? So you want to do what makes sense. Now, with regards to the actual screw head, okay, so you can see right over here, the head of this screw actually is on an angle, and what that means is when you secure it into the material, it's going to bring the material closer together to whatever you're securing, because that angle tightens it down. Now, something like these over here, we take one of these out over here, something like these over here have a flat head, and that flat head does not bring it as tightly down. It doesn't squeeze it in. So you got to go with the screw head that you want. And also, this, for instance, has a hex attachment at the top. You can see right there with a slot head or a flat head. This over here would use a red Robbie, I believe. So you have to choose the screw head that you want to use in terms of the screwdriver tip. Okay? And yeah, so basically you want to choose one that makes sense in terms of the actual screw head type, and then the connection that you're going to need to actually fasten it, okay? And the last thing that you need to consider is the type of screw. So like I said, deck screws are specially formulated for decking, for outside work, okay? For outside work with different types of decking. Wood screws are specially formulated for woodworking projects, okay? These screws are specifically designed for the plastic wall plugs. So these screws coincide with those plastic wall plugs. They came together. These are actually self-drilling screws, which this tip over here is perfect for drilling into metal. If you don't have a pilot hole, this will create a pilot hole for you, okay? And these screws are very, very small, very, very fine screws meant for very, very lightweight and thin applications. So yeah, you want to choose the right type of screw as well. That's it. If you like that, that's basically how to choose the right screw size and type, the basic instructions. You got to go with what works. That's it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.